Welcome to the channel, Annie Collins here. Today we're going to create this sweet card featuring the Segura Crafts Emotions and Opposites stamp set. Let me go over the products I'm going to use. We'll be using the Emotions and Opposites stamp set from Segura Crafts, like I mentioned. And this stamp set is so cute. It has these two little boys right here. And it also has, he's looking all grumpy with his arms crossed. He's looking sad. Then we have this little heart with that burst into butterflies. These four arms crossed with a heart in the center. This little package or envelope with some love hearts coming out of it. A daisy sprig. I'm going to call it a daisy. And a sweet little girl with her arms up. You have some great sentiments in here, like choose to be the calm in the storm, in the chaos. It's the most powerful response. Then so chill, your feelings are valid, you are beautiful. Then let's just chill and see what happens, unconditional. And I woke up to a beautiful day, which will go great with the little girl, and the word love. I'll be using this little guy here. He's so cute. He reminds me of my son. And breathe deeply, the storm within will pass, leaving you stronger than before. So we'll be using this stamp set, which has great sentiments and images. To create our card, I went ahead and got everything prepared ahead of time. So these are the elements. I have our card front panel, our pattern paper here, a circle that I've already cut from accent opaque white cardstock. This is where our image will go, and some red cardstock that I've already die cut. I also have another piece of the accent opaque white for our sentiment and a banner die for that. I've used this circle die for our element, and this is how I created the red scallop edge. This is a grassy border die. I normally use it this way. I just turned it, I just cut it, and now I'm going to use it sideways, and that creates a nice little scallop edge. I'll be using my Copic markers today, and I have them really quick. I'll go through them, and then I will have them listed for you below. And 5, E11, E00, E17, E23, R35, no, 37, I'm sorry, R37, and B23. I feel like bingo. I have some black and some blue and white twine. I pulled it to match the best I could to the pattern paper. Instead of going darker, I went with the closest. And then I have some glitter enamel dots. I'm going to be using the red ones here. All right, I'm going to place everything off to the side. I'm just going to grab these two pieces because that's where we're going to stamp our image and our sentiment. So I'm going to place those to the side. I'm going to keep my banner die out as well. Put everything back in our tray, move my tray out of the way. So I'm going to bring in my stamping platform, and it has a sticky mat in it. So I'm going to go ahead and place the two pieces of cardstock in here. And then I'll grab my images and sentiment from the pack. The inks I'll be using is Memento for my image, Memento in Tuxedo black, and I'm going to use VersaFine Onyx black ink for my sentiment. So I'm going to get this here, get it as lined up as possible. Once I get it where I want it, I'll close my lid and get ready to stamp. So I can see my sentiment isn't straight, and to straighten it, I have to bring it towards myself so I can see better and so you don't see the back of my head. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and stamp my image. I'm using, again, like I said, Memento, because I will be coloring with my Copic markers. I'm VersaFine in Onyx black for our sentiment, so it's nice and crisp. As you can see, I'm not pushing hard on my sentiment so it doesn't get smudgy. That's the technical term, smudgy. All right, I'm going to set my sentiment to the side to dry because VersaFine ink takes a little bit longer to dry. While that's drying, we're going to color in our image. Now, I kept this single, just 1 or 2 markers at max for this because it's a very small image, so it's really quick. I'll start off with his skin. I'll start off with the E11 first, and then I'll blend it out with the E00. And this little guy reminds me so much of my son. he had crazy curly hair when he was younger. So this just reminds me of him. And so does the sentiment. The sentiment, again, I'll read it to you. It says, breathe deeply. The storm within will pass, leaving you stronger than before. Now, that's something similar that I would tell my son when he was having a bad day or something would happen to him. I would tell him, take a deep breath, buddy, and blow it out slow. It's okay. You're going to be fine. This will pass. He just was not good at handling sometimes some things, and doing that with him helped him a lot and helped him manage his emotions. Now, if I think I've mentioned it before, Segura Crafts basically is most of her stamp sets are geared to express emotions, to help with mental health. It's very important to her. She's a veteran-owned company. She's a new stamp company, and it's one of her main things that she wants to promote is healthy and acceptance of our mental health and all the things that go with it. For not only adults, but for children too. Just so that everyone understands that their emotions are valid and you're allowed to express them. All right, so I'm almost done here. And I realized my little guy looks like he's floating in this bubble. So I'm going to grab a C3 just to create a little shadow or a little landing space. Because, it's okay to be floating in a bubble sometimes. But right now, this is not what I want. So I went ahead and did a little scribbly underneath there. Now I can move all my markers out of the way and bring in the rest of the components for our card. Well, before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and die cut my sentiment. So I have this little banner die here. I'm pretty sure this is from MFT. I will double check and link it in the description below. I think it's an older banner die, but either way, any die will work. Or if you don't have a die, just use your trimmer or your scissors, whichever you feel most comfortable with, and create a quick little strip for your sentiment. All right, so I'm going to take everything out of the way. Now I will bring all the components for our card in so we can make it. So today I'm just going to make our card front, and I will add it to my card base a little bit later. Sometimes on screen it's just easier to create the card front. I'm also going to bring in my Tim Holtz tiny attacher. I'm going to use that to attach our twine to our little circle here, and I'll show you that in a second. See, I'm just going to place it like this, and then I'll just attach it. So let me move everything else out of the way, and we'll start by adhering our pattern paper. Now this pattern paper, I can't tell you who makes it. It's been in my stash, my little scrap box, for quite some time. It's left over from a different, from a layout I created a while back. So if you happen to know who makes it, let me know. This is from before I started doing design team things, so I didn't keep track of which paper I used. And then I just adhered I adhered that to the card front panel, and then I adhered the red scallop on there. And I'm going to wrap our twine around this twice. And I'm going to create like an X, and then I'll tie a bow on the left hand side. I'm just trying to figure out, I don't want it to go across his body, the little piece of twine. I want it to go by his feet. If they cross over his feet, it's fine. I just don't want it to go across his body. So I'm just going to hold it there, and I'll use my tiny attacher to create sort of a little half X design here to hold it down. And they create the tiniest little metallic staples. Are so cute. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do the other side. Same thing, a little X design. And then I'll trim off any of the excess twine, and I will add foam adhesive to the back of that circle before I place it down. So I'm just going to fiddle here with my twine and tie off my bow here really quickly, or as quickly as possible. So here's the truth. This video has been sped up, and so I don't move this fast. If you saw how slow it was to tie this bow, you would be like, come on already. But I did as quickly as possible. All right, so here we are going to adhere some foam adhesive to the back of the circle so we can pop that up. We will have our sentiment and our foam and our circle, our image, popped up. These foam adhesives are not high profile, they're all low profile, so it's not going to be a lot of dimension, so it'd be easy to stick it in your envelope and put it through the mail. I'm not a huge dimension kind of person, but I do like dimension. So I'm going to remove all the backing of that, place this as centered as possible onto my card, and then I will do the same with our sentiment and place it there. So I want the little bow to overlap a little circle here, and then I trimmed off the excess twine, going to add our adhesive behind our sentiment. I'll remove the backing, and I'm placing that just below our little boy here. I'm going to make sure it's straight. Press that into place, and you can call your card done at this point, but I like to add a little more embellishment, so I'm going to bring in these glittered enamel dots, and adding a little glitter or a little shimmer to something that is for a masculine is fine. So in my book, in my opinion, I should say that. So I'm going to go ahead and put 2 across our little boy here, and then 2 above him and 1 below our sentiment, creating that flow throughout the card. Now, sorry about the lights going. The camera is reading the reflection off of the enamel dots, and it dims it a little bit. Once I move it, it goes back to normal. I have to remember not to put anything near that lamp. All right, so here we are, we're done. And I put a little of liquid adhesive behind my enamel dots because I've had them in my stash for a while. So I want to make sure that they would stick. All right, so we use the Emotions and Opposites stamp from Segura Crafts. I will have everything linked in the description box below. Thank you for being here, and I hope you found some inspiration. Don't forget to like and subscribe.